Hi students, a very pleasant and warm greetings to you all. Hope you are doing good. Today we are going to start our fourth chapter, okay? Our fourth chapter is Introduction to Hypertext Preprocessor, okay? Now we are going to see about Hypertext Preprocessor, okay? Here, internet and web-based online applications are performing a important role in both the entertainment and also in business. Okay, there is a famous quote in your book they have given. See, if your business establishment is not on internet or online based, then your business will be out of business context. Like that, the founder, who Microsoft founder Bill Gates had said this famous quotes. Okay, this web-based internet application will give you the success of any business you do in this competitive world. Okay, in the earlier 1990s, if you see, British scientist Tim Berners-Lee, this Tim Berners-Lee only introduced the concept of this internet or this world wide web. You would have known it already. www is the world wide web, right? This was introduced by Tim Berners-Lee in early 1990s. Okay, he is the British scientist. This concept only was the basic for all the network activities. Okay, this concept needed a set of programming language, so that if you give the instruction in the form of a programming language only, this web pages can be created, right? So these programming languages are now called as web scripting languages. Okay, this web scripting languages are easy to handle, and this is used to solve the critical business problems which are around the world also. Okay, in this later 1990s, many scripting languages were introduced to support this online business which is held through this internet. Okay, this PHP only, hypertext preprocessor, that is this chapter. Okay, this PHP is hypertext preprocessor. Okay, this is one of the most widely used and recognizable techniques which is used through this internet. Okay, actually, at first this PHP stood for personal home page. Okay, and later on it is changed to hypertext preprocessor. It is a standard name given for this PHP. Okay, hypertext preprocessor, and this is the fundamental part of any dynamic web page. Okay, any web page is created, this PHP will be the dynamic, will take the dynamic part of creating that web page. Okay, this is one of the important server side web and general purpose scripting language. Okay, this PHP was introduced in 1994 by Rasmus Lerdorf. Okay, Rasmus Lerdorf, Rasmus Lerdorf, that is Lerdorf. Okay, this PHP was introduced in the year 1994 by this Rasmus Lerdorf. Okay, this is a very simple and a open source server side scripting language. Okay, this can be easily embedded with HTML. Okay, and other any type of scripting languages. Okay, right? Like CSS. CSS means cascading style sheet. You have learned in 11th grade itself, right? Cascading style sheets, JavaScript. In any of that, we can include this PHP and we can develop web pages. Okay, this also creates dynamic and interactive web pages in the real-time web development projects. Okay, here now if you see, everything is through online. As I said to you before, everything is held through this internet only. And if the web page is interactive, or when you open a web page, if you can find something interactive, or if you find something different, only you used to open that web page, right? If this Facebook is giving you so many latest updates, and so only you are using this Facebook or Instagram now, right? So to create that such dynamic and interactive web pages, this PHP is used. Okay, it is a competitor and alternative for other server-side scripting languages like Microsoft ASP, JSP. ASP means active server page. Okay. JSP is Java server page. Okay. In a recent survey, they have found that this PHP scripting language was used all around the world for creating web pages. Okay, when you compare it with Java or static files or ASP.NET or any other scripting languages, this PHP took 78.9 percentage of websites which are of the websites are developed by this PHP scripting language. Okay, now let's see the various server-side programming languages which is used globally. Okay, this PHP scripting language can be used through an interpreter. Okay, this is installed in the web servers or in a common gateway interface. Okay, the most of the web servers like Apache, Tomcat, Microsoft IaaS, that is Internet Information Server, this all will support this PHP interpreter module. Okay, this PHP is a open source software. Okay, open source community development initiation. That means anyone can use that. This is a open source one, and it has many versions to ensure the quality and easy of the use. Okay, to develop a web page, if the scripting language is easy only, we'll use it, right? So for that they have given so many versions to give the best quality and to make it easy. Okay, the current version of this PHP is PHP 7.3. Okay, this is released by the official team in the year 2017 November 30th. Okay, understood? This PHP, the latest form of PHP was PHP 7.3, and this is released on 30th November 2017. Okay, next one is we are going to see about client server architecture. Okay, in the evolution of the network architecture, many critical networks relating problems are there. Okay, from the client server. So this client architecture introduces a application sharing mechanisms between two different types of hardware systems over this internet or intranet. Okay, in this 1990, internet was starting in the computer field. Okay, this in, as I said you before, in 1990 only this internet or this world wide web came, right? So the main objective or the main goal of this internet is the application is shared by more than one hardware. Maybe it may be a server or a client machine, maybe a server or a client, more than one hardware. This must be, we can use this internet to connect, right? The server is a high performance hardware machine. Okay, server means this is the base for everything. Server is a high performance hardware machine. This can run more than one application at the same time. Okay, the client is a separate hardware machine which is connected with the server through this internet. Okay, internet or intranet. Okay, this could send the request, and this can also receive the response from the server side. Okay, server is a hardware, and from the server side this can receive or this can send the request. Okay, this server and client are also called as a service provider and service requester. Okay, this server and client, we can say them as service provider and service requester. Okay, and the next one is client server architecture model. Okay, see this diagram. They have given database server, two database servers which is connected with the network, and the clients are also connected with the server through the network. Okay, here in this client server architecture model, this is classified into three types. Okay, first one is single tier architecture, two-tier architecture, three-tier architecture. We can say it as multi-tier architecture also, three-tier architecture or multi-tier architecture, or we can say it as n-tier architecture also. Okay, first let's see what is single-tier architecture. This architecture is used for the server accessed by client. Okay, this client application runs inside the server machine itself. So this has only a single layer of interaction. So this is known as single tier architecture. Okay, understood? Since this has only a single layer of interaction, this is known as single tier architecture. Okay, this architecture is used only for the server which is accessed by the client. Okay, so here only one layer of interaction is done, and this is known as single tier architecture. Next one is two tier architecture. That means this architecture is used for the server accessed by client as two layer interactions. Okay, there only one layer interaction was done. Here client and the server interactions are done in a done as two layer. Okay, when you see this diagram, you can see server database is here and client database is here. They are not in the single tier, that they are given in the separate tier as database tier separately and client tier separately. So this is two tier architecture. Okay, and the next one is multi-tier architecture or three-tier architecture. This is used for the server to access the client to more than one layer of interaction. Okay, it may have application software, and the client tier will be in one layer, database tier will be in one layer, business tier will be in one layer. Okay, so more than two layers are there means we will say it is multi-tier architecture or three-tier architecture. Okay, the programmer could decide the count of business logic layers according to the software's need. Okay, this is the reason this model is known as multi-tier or three-tier architecture. Okay, most of the server-side scripting languages are working in only one client server architecture model. Okay, this web server is a software. This is running in a server hardware. Okay, web server is a software, but this runs in a server hardware only. Okay, this takes the responsibility for all the execution and compilation of the server-side scripting languages. Okay, when you give it as a code, when you give the script, when you write a code in some language, and if you give it, it must be compiled, right? First, it must be compiled, and then only the execution will take place. This all will be taken responsible by whom? By this by this web server only. Okay. Next, we are going to see about server-side scripting language. Okay, this web scripting languages can be classified into two. Okay, client-side and server-side language. Okay, when you see this JavaScript, this is a client-side scripting language, but this PHP is a different one from this. Okay, this PHP code executes on this web server only, which is installed in a machine. Okay, and this generates HTML code, and that code will be sent to the user. Okay, then the user will see the HTML code, and they will process that through the internet in their computer or the laptop which they have. Okay, this PHP also supports the object oriented programming concept. That means here we'll have class, objects, inheritance, everything. Okay, see this diagram, they have given web browser, and first what? HTTP request, and then HTTP response. As I said, request and response are there, right? For this PHP. And inside this PHP, we will have executive PHP codes in the web server, right? This PHP is, as I said you before, this PHP is a entirely this PHP will work on the web server only, right? So inside this web server, this PHP will be there, and the codes will be executed, and from there to the web browser, the HTTP requests are also will be sent, and the responses will also be taken. Okay, next we are going to see about installation of this web server and this configuration of files. Okay, this web server software runs on a server hardware. Okay, this governs a server-side scripting compilation into the intermediate bytecode, which is interpreted by the runtime engine. Okay, this web server software will run on a server hardware only. Okay, this will be governed by whom? Server-side scripting compilation, and into the intermediate bytecode which is interpreted by the runtime engine. Okay, now we are going to install it. Don't get confused. Once you install and use it, you will get the clear idea of this web server. Okay, this web server software is available as an open source, or sometimes it will be as a licensed version in the market. Okay, when you see in the internet, sometimes you will get it as an open source one, or sometimes the licensed version will be there. Okay, and the recent study, or in the recent research, you can see that web server usage, yes, 130 percentage websites are running under the open source web servers only, like Apache Tomcat. Okay, next we are going to see the installation and configuration of this Apache HTTPD web server and the PHP module in Windows Server machine. Okay, for that, first you have to go to Apache Foundation website. Okay, and then we have to download the HTTPD web server software. Okay, for that they have given a link here. You can see https colon slash httpd dot apache dot org slash download dot cgi. If you type this in your browser, you will get the setup. Okay, after downloading .msi file from the Apache Foundation web server website, first this user have to launch this .msi file. Okay, when you launch that, one dialog box will appear. From there you have to click next till you get finish. Okay, and then the software, as a default one, the port number will be 130 or 130. Okay, once the user has clicked on the finish, the web server software is installed. Okay, and the configured on the server hardware machine as a service. Okay, and then now we have to start our testing. Okay, whether this Apache is installed, we have to test it, right? For that, yeah, we have to enter this one in your web browser. We can go to any of the browser. You can use Mozilla Firefox or Safari in your phone, means, or Google Chrome or Internet Explorer or Opera Mini, any browser. You can just go and type this https colon double slash localhost colon 130 slash, or 130 means we can just type this. If you get 130 means you have to type the next URL code. Okay, then the output page will say it works. It works means this is correct, or if it is not working, there may be some issue in the network. Okay, then this administrator user can stop or restart the web server service at any time through the Windows control panel. Okay, this when you open it, you can see administrator side, right? This administrator user, if you are logging in through the administrator means, you can restart or start or stop any of the service through this Windows control panel. Okay, once the service stops, the client machine will not receive any response message from the server machine. Okay, this web server configuration settings file will be located in the, if you see in your programs file, you will have conf. This directory will be there. Inside this, httpd.conf, this in this name one file will be there. Okay, under this Apache installation directory, this file will be there. We have to edit this file. Okay, we have to edit this file and enable the PHP module to run the PHP scripting language. Okay, are you clear? Next one is web development concept. Okay, web development concept. This one describes about the website development and hosting through the internet. Okay, internet or intranet. This process of development also includes web page designing, website security, web content generations, and many other things too. Okay, now let's see how this PHP script works. Okay, this web page or this website is developed by a programmer using PHP script, right? PHP is just a software. We have to give the coding and we can execute some of the task, right? Or we can just create a new web page, right? Finally, the entire website codes are moved to the web server path in a remote server machine. Okay, from the client side, If the end user opens the browser, types the URL of the website, you will have to initiate the request to the remote server machine over the network. Okay, through the network we have to stay connected, and if the user is typing the URL and whatever you have created here, they can see there. Okay, after receiving the request from the client machine, the web server will try to compile and interpret the PHP code which is available in the remote machine. Okay, next then what will happen, then the response will be generated and then it will be again sent back to the client machine over the network. This from where? From web server. Okay, and finally the browser which is installed in the client machine also receives the response, which as per our codes, the output will be displayed to the user. Okay. First, let's see the PHP syntax for that. To create any codings, we must know the syntax, right? For PHP also, we have some syntax. Okay. So the types of syntax are, we have three types here. Default syntax, short open tags, HTML script embedded tags. Okay. Default syntax, short open tags, HTML script embedded tags. Okay. Default syntax means the default syntax always begins with this less than, question mark, PHP, and it always closes with question mark and a greater than symbol. Okay, it will start with a question mark PHP and it will end with question mark and a greater than symbol. Okay, so when you see this diagram, you can understand whenever you are opening a PHP or when you are opening, it will start with question mark PHP and it will end with this end statement only. Okay, each word means to get one output string means we'll use this echo. Okay, if it is along with this echo, if you are giving some words inside a double quotes, the word will be displayed as such inside the double quotes in the output side. Okay, and then here also semicolon is the end of the statement. If you give the semicolon only, this will work. Okay, and then how will you close the PHP tag? It will be there as the default one. If it is not there, you have to check it and you have to write it. Okay, when opening a PHP tag, you will put less than question mark PHP. To close it, you will give question mark and a greater than symbol. Okay, then short open tags. Short open tags means this also begins with less than question mark and it will end with greater than question mark greater than. Okay, but the user has to enable short style tags settings in the php.ini file on the server. Okay, the syntax for that is also given here. You can see they have given the opening PHP tag as less than question mark and the closing PHP tag as question mark greater than. Okay, are you clear? You see this HTML web response page and you can understand. See, we know HTML, right? We have written the HTML codes in the last year itself. Inside the HTML code, we will include the PHP language or the PHP codes inside like this. Can you see? Uh, Less than question mark PHP and next only you will be writing all the codes and then at last again question mark greater than. Okay, HTML script embedded tags. HTML script embedded tags look just like the HTML script tags. Okay, in HTML we have seen some tags, right? Script means script language is equal to JavaScript. We have learned in the last year, right? Here see the syntax, HTML syntax. Script language is equal to, there we wrote Java, right? Here this is PHP. So we are giving script language is equal to PHP echo. This is whatever you are giving in between this double quote, this will be displayed in the output side. And then slash script is the end tag for the script. Okay, this syntax is created and saved in a file with the extension. If this is created, this must be saved with the extension. When you save it, you have to, if you are giving the name as name means you have to give it as name.php. Okay, this .php file is ready to execute from the web server. Okay, so that it can generate the response to the client machine. Okay, next we are going to see embedded PHP in HTML. Okay, PHP script can be written in side of the HTML code, and we can save it with the extension of .php. Okay, since this will have some similarities also. Okay, this file get executed in the web server, and the browser will receive only the HTML, and other client side files will be received by this web server. Okay, and only the raw PHP code will be visible in the browser, which means the PHP is that PHP interpreter. Okay, this PHP interpreter produces the raw HTML files to the browser in the client machine. Okay, in the client machine, if you see, if there is some wrong, or if there is some issue only, you will see the PHP raw code. Okay, the raw code will be displayed only if there is some complications in the code. Okay, or else the output will be directly displayed to the client server. Okay, next we are going to see about variable in PHP. Okay, PHP has a variable like other programming language also. We have seen if you see C++ or Python, we have many variables, right? So here also variables are the storage locations. Variable means if you consider n means n is a variable, you can assign some value to n. Likewise, variables are the storage location which can store the values for later purpose. Okay, for the later usage in the program, we can just save some variables, and we can maintain that as the storage location. Okay, the variable in PHP will always start with a dollar symbol. Okay, dollar symbol, and the assignment activity will be implemented using this equal to operator. Okay, this one we know already, and every lines will be ending with semicolon. Okay, so the statement ends with semicolon. That is the end of the statement. Okay, the semicolon will say it as end of statement. The semicolon indicates the end of statement. The main advantages of this PHP variable declaration is this does not need to specify the data type or a keyword separately. Okay, such as we will use int for integer, char for character, float for two digit integers, and double string. If it is a set of characters, means you will say it as a string, right? Like this, we don't need to give any of the data type keywords. We can just give a dollar symbol, and you can give a variable name. Okay, now they have given some more basic rules for variable declaration. Okay, variable name must always begin with this dollar symbol. This we saw there itself. Then variable name can never start with a number. Okay, then variable names are case sensitive. Okay, let's see an example for this. $A is equal to 5. Then it will end with semicolon. Same way, $B is equal to 10, and it will end with semicolon. Okay, this is the example for a variable. Okay, variable means we are assigning some value to a variable, so it cannot be a number. And if you are giving small a is equal to 5, means if you are typing capital A, that will be different. So this is case sensitive. This is case sensitive, and also this variable cannot be a number, and this variable always starts with the dollar symbol. Okay, next we are going to see about the data types in PHP. Okay, PHP, this scripting language, support 13 data types. Okay, this data types only plays a major role in all the programming languages. Okay, to classify the data, we are using this data types. Okay, here first one is string, then integer, float, boolean, array, object, null, resource. Okay, string, integer, float, boolean, array, object, null, resource. First, let's see what is string. String is a collection of character. Okay, character means we know character is A is a character, B is a character, single letter is a character. Okay, so if you are going to write Jenny, means it is a collection of characters, right? It has Jeni. So it is a collection of characters. So collection of characters is called string. Okay, this will be written within a double quotes or a single quotes. Okay, here if you see, they have given computer application inside double quotes or single quotes. Okay, here if you see, if you are writing computer space application means the space also will be considered as one string. Okay, understood? Then the next one is integer. Integer means we know integer is any numbers, any non decimal numbers are integer is a data type which contains non-decimal numbers. Okay, here if you see they have given 59135. Okay, this is a integer and we are giving the x variable as a value 59135. Okay, here uh, this system defines the function and returns the structure information about the variables in this PHP. Okay, next one is float. Float is a data type which has decimal numbers. Decimal numbers means will have point, right? 5.1 means that is a decimal number. If you consider only 5, if you are giving it as an integer, it will consider only the thing which is uh, before the decimal point. Okay, so 5 only it will take. If you give the data type as integer, it will consider only 5. Here they are given 19.15. If you give this as an integer, it will consider only 19. Okay, since you are giving this as a float, it will consider 19 and 0.15. So before and after the decimal point, the numbers will be considered if you declare that data as a float. Okay, next one is Boolean. Boolean means here this denotes only two states, either true or false. Okay, this Boolean is a data type which denotes the possible two states, either it will be true or it will be false. Okay, next one is array. Array is a data type which has multiple values in a single variable. Okay, one single variable only will be there. Inside that itself we can now we can take, simply we can say we have a hand, but inside hand we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fingers, right? Likewise, array means this is a data type which has multiple values in a single variable. Okay, next one is variable dump. VAR underscore DUMP. This function is used to dump the information about the variable. This function will be displays the structured information such as type, value of the given variable. Okay, here the arrays and objects are explored recursively with the values intended to show the structure. Okay, next one we are going to see about object. In PHP, object is a data type which has the information about the data and the function inside a class. Okay, here if you see they have given an object. Here we are going to create an object. Here uh, school underscore obj, that we are creating an object is equal to new school and then a bracket and semicolon. We'll say this bracket is off. Okay, so new school off and a semicolon. So here an object is created. Okay, so this object is a data type which contains the information about the data and the function inside the class. Okay, then next one is null. Null is a special data type which contains a single value null. So if you give this null, it will have only a single value and that single value will be null. Okay, and the next one is resources. Resource is a specific variable. It has a reference to an external source. Okay, this resource is a specific, this is a special variable and this has a reference to the external resource which is outside. Okay, this variable will hold a specific handlers to handle files and database connections in the respective PHP program. If you are writing a single program, this variable will hold a specific handlers to handle the file and the database connections. The connection between the database and the files will be handled by the special handlers which holds a data variable in the database, and this is known as resource. Okay, that's all for today. Hope you understood something about this PHP. We'll see it briefly in the next session. Make sure you read the portion that day itself and take notes in your note also. Thank you for your valuable time. Stay home, stay safe, take care. Bye.